Well, hello everyone. My name is Zakia Ringgold, and I wanted to do a video on how I am attempting to leverage Notion in order to get my life in order. So if you are like me, you've got a notebook here, a notebook there. I hit myself in the head, an iPad there, a cell phone there, and whatever you have at your disposal is probably what you will use in order to get write down whatever thought that you have. I have journals, all kinds of stuff. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I am using several templates that I have gotten from people here on YouTube. I am a part of Conrad's creative community. I will link his information below. And then also Marie, who is like the Notion guru that I follow, and join her on the weekly office hour, the Notion office hours. So in case you are wondering, the tool that you are looking at is called Notion. And Notion is a database. Notion is a journaling app. Notion is a whole lot of things. And I could probably never do it enough justice in one video, but I'm going to show you how I went from getting several templates and how I'm attempting to use it in order to get these things organized. So the general premise is goals. Goals are a huge part of what drives what I do. And it's also important for me to be able to know that I'm kind of sort of achieving them or on the right track. So Notion is a way for me to see all of my goals, all of the associated projects, as well as the tasks that I have to do in one place. But it's so much more. I'm doing budgeting in here. I'm doing my travel planning in here, my content calendar, my online website, my full-time job, my mommy hat. All of it is in one place, which helps me to feel like I'm in control, which is why we are calling this main page in the main hub the control center. And so I'm going to scroll down, and I will tell you at the end some of my lessons learned that I would have done differently. And hopefully, if you're just getting started on your Notion journey, you will avoid some of my mistakes. So the first part of this, if I start at the bottom, that's probably the best place to begin. I start out with what are my goals for the year? And this came from Marie's template. So she has something called like my big ideas. So if I go there, it kind of starts out with what the big vision is, your own personal manifesto. Like, what is it that you stand for? What are those visions that you have for yourself, your own personal growth, your family, your career, whatever that is? Then you go into a vision. So if you are living that manifesto out, how does that appear in a vision? And then from that vision, you break those down into goals. So what are the goals that are going to help you achieve those individual or that overall overarching vision in line with your personal manifesto? So goals are really big. You have to break those down into smaller chunks, which are known as projects. And within every project, you have milestones. And in order for you to achieve those milestones, there are associated tasks that you must complete. So I'm not going to expand each one of these because some of it is personal, but I highly recommend that you take a look at Marie. She does have a pay whatever you want kind of thing for this template, and it helps you to not have to reinvent the wheel. So this has all been created. There's also some startup routines in here. I don't use those the way that they're supposed to be used. I kind of tweaked it a little bit for what my routines are. So from there, I'm going to go back to our control center. Those goals then end up on this very first page that is what I open up to every single day. And so if I scroll down, it's thinking. So as you can see, those goals are here. Then I have a master calendar. Now, the way I would like to use this master calendar is no matter if I put it on my finance tracker, my meal planner, my networking, my projects, anything that has a date within this entire system, I want it to appear on this master calendar. So that way I don't have a work calendar, a mommy calendar, a business calendar, a personal life calendar. I want all of those things to be in one place. I haven't quite figured that part out. If you do know how to do that for any date that you enter in Notion, please leave it in the comments below. All right. So we have all of our goals, and this one, let's go ahead and open this up. That does come from the My Big Ideas one. And what I did was I separated by the quarters that I need to achieve these things. And there's a progress tracker on there. So based on what I put on different areas, it is tracking my progress towards achieving that. So me being at 15% is almost there, but not quite. So it keeps track of the current number that I'm attempting to hit, as well as the current number I'm at, as well as the target. And then there's also the category that it fits in. So my goals are separated into different categories. I have career goals. I have relationship goals like personal time with family, night out one time a month, networking, personal growth. I also have goals around my personal finances as well. So everything that has to do with work falls under career. Then a goal is very difficult to achieve if you don't have an outcome. Like, what is that thing that is going to drive you to working towards that goal? So that's where I have these outcomes listed. And then for those things that are specifically work related, I have those listed so that I can keep track of and then also open up just those things that are work related when I'm at work. So that's how I'm able to keep my personal life, my own personal business and entrepreneurial endeavors separate from the things when I'm working my 9 to 5. I only go into those chop projects when I'm working. All right. So that's the idea of the goals. And these goals, even though I've set them up in a different table, in a different space, they're all rolling up to show on my control center. So at any time, I don't have to go searching. It's all right here. I can see my progress. I can see, hey, you talk about completing all projects with excellence. What have you done for that? What have you done for that lately? Looks like nothing. And that's going to be one of the lessons learned I talk about at the end of this video, because I am learning that every new habit takes the consistency of building a behavior. So it's not that I haven't done anything for that goal. I have not created the consistent habit of tracking my progress and entering my progress. So this was a great place for me to start out with a brain dump to get it all out of my head and into something that I could see and then not become so overwhelmed. All right, so we have our goals, and then if we scroll on up, we have a projects section. So remember when I was talking about under those big ideas, one way that you achieve those goals is to break them down into manageable projects that have a specific time frame, or they can last an entire year or over a specific period of time. So these are the projects that I'm currently working on. And the nice thing about every single one of these, I'm going to open up the personal development one, is you can create a next action for it. So the outcomes that I'm after are getting a better business acumen, increasing my industry reputation, both in the training and development space, as well as the handcrafted skincare space, improving my personal relationships. And then, of course, we all want clarity, but I want more mental clarity and the ability to improve my focus. So a lot of times, And I think Notion is a step into the direction of being able to focus, and you'll see why. And so the nice thing, I have those outcomes, then it's identifying which quarters all of those things belong in. And then there are related tasks to help me achieve those personal development ones. But then that can get overwhelming, right? So, what is the next action? What is the next thing that I am going to do in order to achieve that particular step in the project or in this particular goal? So, the nice thing about this next action, the way it's designed, is that then shows up on a master task list that I can then use to plan out the critical activities that I need to do for the week or the month or over time. So all of my projects that I have listed down here have associated actions as well as due dates. The next part is the finance management piece. Now, a special shout out to Conrad. He is running an amazing community. I am a supporter of his on Patreon, and one of the tools that he has is finance management. And what this does, I'm only showing you a small piece of it because this is what allows me to track my spending on a day-to-day basis. So I wanted that to be front and center right here so I can easily do it on my phone, on my tablet. As soon as I spend money, I open this up. That is a habit that I have been doing very, 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 very well. And then at the top, I know a lot of people who use Notion, they do daily and weekly, but on my control center, I like to have my week at a glance. And then when I open up the week, I can then see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So at the end of this month, I will roll all of these up, and this view will only show for the current calendar month. And as you can see, if I open up the February 17th one, 17th, that's not a number, but you guys know what I meant. And the nice thing about this is it tells me, or I've identified what tasks I want to complete for the week. It also gives me the outcomes that I am working on. What was a highlight? First paid client for a brand new service, which was very cool. I also get the ability to check off what was effective or how effective was I. As you can see, I gave myself 1 star. I'll talk about that at the end. I also have a space in here to write what I'm grateful for, what are we winning and celebrating about, and what are some of the lessons and challenges. And it's amazing that I'm looking at this right now because the challenge that I had was I was trying to do it all. And interestingly enough, I had a really interesting call with someone today out of the blue. And she was basically asking, what can I do to help you? Which is incredible. All right. And so my finance management is down here as well. Here is where the beauty comes in. For every day, I have tasks associated. And those tasks all come out of this master task database. Now, remember, when we were setting up our goals, when we were setting up our projects, all of them were then being put into this master task calendar. I could then take them from this calendar and plot them on the days where I would definitely be able to do the work, which is so very important. Then there's also a weekly habit tracker. So as you can see, I have a couple of habits that I'm trying to build. 2 books per week. I've completed 1. That means I was 50% of the way there. 70 ounces of water on a daily basis. Home cooked dinner. Packing lunch. Awake by 5. Breakfast, bed, meditation, vitamins, Bible study. So all of the things that I'm attempting to track and build the habit of doing so that I don't have to track it, I have them on here. And then there's a way for me to check off, you got it done on this day. So if I check that off, it'll tell me, look at this. And I'm not sure which template this came from, but I will be sure to put it in the description if it came from Marie or if it came from Conrad. But I'm blending their two to achieve what it is that I want. So as you can see, we can check off the days. And what that does is there's a formula in here that it says, okay, you said you wanted to do that twice a week. You've only checked off one day, so you have one more to go. It looks like I've dragged these and they're out of order, but that's okay. So here it is. I've set what my threshold is. I want to do it twice a week. I've only checked off that I've completed one book. So that's how that's automatically tracking for me. At the bottom, those projects are listed as well. And then I brought this over weekly meal planning. This came from Conrad as well. The nice thing about this is not only is it the meal plan, it's the grocery shopping plan as well. So I can plan out what it is that we want to eat Monday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I can check off what I need to buy at the grocery store and then how it is associated with the meals, which of course have associated recipes with them. So when it comes time for me to go shopping, my grocery list is right there for me. Now, I must tell you, this is not my current grocery list. This is me saying this is how I want to use it. Check back with me next week to see if I'm actually using it that way. And then there's a space down here for me to identify what it is that I'm looking forward to over the weekend, because so often I find that I get really caught up in the moment of just getting the work done. This gives me a chance at the beginning of the week to sit down and say, okay, what is it that you want to do on Saturday and Sunday to rest and recuperate, and most importantly, recharge to go full strength the following week. Then there is a section at the bottom for some weekly reflection. So what were the highs? What were the good, the proud moments, the lows, the frustrations, what I learned this week, what I'd like to improve on, and any ahas that I got. So there is another app that I use, which is called Day One, and that is my journaling app. So I'm not sure that I'm going to use this weekly reflection in here. I think I'm going to save that for the journaling app, because for that I would like to be able to look back on it. I'll talk about Day One on another app or on another video. If you want to hear me talk about that one and do a demonstration of that one, let me know in the comments. All right, so that is what the weeks look like. Another interesting thing is, so that's just kind of like the planning stuff, but there's other things that I have to do. And so what I've done is over here on the right hand side, we have quick links. So anytime there's like this idea, I can't do anything with it right now, I will use this inbox. And that's something that I've gotten from watching tons of Notion tutorials here on YouTube. I have that place for me to just quickly jot it down. When I start to do my weekly planning for the week, then I will look at that inbox and see, do I need to focus on this? Does it fit with any of our projects, our vision, our mission, our milestones? And if it doesn't, and I don't have time for it, it just stays there until the following week. For my two businesses, I have Live Soap School. I also have Natural Soap by Zakia. And this has my content calendars in there, the services, the programs, the projects, my production calendar, they're all in here. My online courses that I offer, the content outlines for those are there. The video scripting is there as well. The money one kind of goes back into the finance stuff. There's also YouTube. I also have my reading list on here, which is where I am capturing what it is that I'm reading, what it is that I'm learning about, in my wish list for, you know how sometimes you'll hear somebody mention a book, you don't really have time to read it, but maybe you'll download it later. That's in the reading list as well. I also have a soapers notebook, and I'll do a separate video for this for all of my soapers out there. But this is how I do the 4 critical areas for soap making. That's the planning, that's the production, that's the packaging, and that is the order fulfillment. So it would be the 4 P's, but that is how I keep track of all that in one place. I also have my travel planner, and I'm trying to find, I'll open that one up because, maybe one of you has a solution for this, and I always love to hear solutions. So the travel planner is where I put all of the travel plans that I have for the year. And what I'd like to add, again, keeping the finance goal in mind, is a place where I have a budgeted amount for each one of these travel items in a way for me to track the saving as well as the spending once I get on these trips. So some way to make a connection between this travel planner as well as the finances. So I'm going to work on that, but I'm also going to put it in the co-creator community that Conrad is running, because I'm sure when I tell you the productivity that's happening in there and the ideas that are occurring are absolutely phenomenal. So that's how I'm currently using the travel planner, and there's a whole lot more to it, but you don't really care about that. So I share all of that to say, let me come on back here. I am really enjoying Notion, but I promised you 2 lessons learned. Number 1, when you are using Notion, it is very, very tempting to go out and duplicate every single database that kind of sort of looks like what you want to do. Don't do that. I'm telling you from experience, because each of those databases have different relations, and you really need to be able to peel back and understand how those databases work with one another. I would really like to create one master tag database within Notion. I'd like to have one master calendar where no matter where I put a date, it's always going to be on that calendar. And then another thing that you can do is, when you get these templates, look at them. Try and understand, how is this table connected to the next table? And before you start duplicating all of them, identify how it is that you want to work with Notion. What do you want the system to do for you? It does not have to be a be all end all. I am using 3 systems right now. One of them is Notion. Notion is kind of like I don't want to call it a project management tool, because those project management people will come after me with forks, pitchforks, knives, all kinds of stuff. But it is a place for me to see at a glance, do my brain dump on what it is that I'm trying to achieve. Then I use Notability. That is my note-taking app that I use. And then I use Day One, which is my journaling app. And I can show you guys that at any point. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have some tips on how you are currently using Notion, or some great templates, I really want to learn formulas. So if you have some formula videos that you think would be helpful, let me know. And I'll see you all on the next video. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and all that good stuff. Be productive. Be productive. Ow.